Good morning and welcome to today's pre-market video. If you are newly subscribed to this channel, thank you for doing so. So this video typically goes up 9:30 a.m. but I usually record an hour. So before that, sometimes 2 hours before that, all depends on just what I'm doing. And essentially, pre-market is the period before the market opens. In this case, NGX as the Nigerian stock market. So pre-market is before the Nigerian stock market opens. The stock market in Nigeria opens from 10 a.m., closes by 2:20 for regular traders or regular investors, and then 2:30 for the brokers. Um, Thank you for everyone for liking, sharing, subscribing. It helps grow the channel. Thank you for doing so. And I hope you find this content useful. I will try my best as possible so to do create content that I think is useful and all that. The only thing I will not do is to give investment advice. So if you ask questions and I don't answer, it's either it looks like investment advice, and I generally stay away from that. More so, I think I've been seeing, I need to do an article on this. I'm going to get around to doing that today. Things seem to be looking pretty wild in terms of what people say about the markets and all that. So people need to be careful, please. Do your own research. There's so much great content out there that can enable you to do your own research. So please do your own research. Don't rely on what anybody says, including myself. At best, their opinions, at best, is information you have to distill and then filter through it and decide. Please do your own research. As always, content is not investment or trading advice. I don't do stock picks. I don't do trading signals. I don't do anything. I'm simply an equity research analyst who comes to talk about the stock market, comes to talk about crypto, comes to talk about financial markets, about things that I find interesting. So in no way, shape, or form is this investment advice. And I saw an interesting tweet exchange somewhere. Sometimes when you say so, people feel, oh, you're being stingy or you're just a wicked soul, so to speak. That is not the case. The reason why people say so is that you cannot determine or know how people will act on what you say. So if you strongly push or strongly use language that will make people act and they lead to losses, because you don't know what people will say or what people will do with what you say. I've seen cases whereby you see people put school fees in the stock market, put retirement funds in the stock market, newly retired people. That is not the point in time you should be doing so. So go sit down with a financial advisor. Go sit down. I mean, you have various asset management firms. If they probably would do a decent job. Google asset management firms and get a collective investment vehicle. Please do not let anyone swindle you of your money. Do not let anybody use you as exit liquidity, as we say in the markets. Do your own research. You can learn from people, you can listen, but you must sit down and work out your own numbers. It's very, very important. I'm seeing lots of things that don't make sense. But please be careful out there. Criteria for my watch list: price and volume movement, as well as corporate actions. Corporate actions are announcements made by the firm, or in some cases, announcements even made by the stock exchange itself. Beggar Paints is the first stock on my watch list for today. Stock is trading at a 52-week high. I suspect that's also an all-time high. It's 38 naira, so I probably will squeeze it. So stock closed at 38 naira. I think it will remain within range. The stock is not a very liquid stock, so chances of breaking out further in a sharp manner are very low. Moving averages have it as a buy, but it appears frothy from a fundamental view. I wish I could pull up my Excel sheet, but I have client information there and I can't share on the screen. So I keep an eye on the stock, and I don't know, maybe I'll squeeze it into let's see how it trades midday. If there's traction midday, maybe I'll do squeezing a sheet or so midday just to talk about that stock. So let's see how it goes today. Midday video goes up by 12:30 p.m. West African time. WAPCO closed at 123 yesterday, lost 7 naira. Where will it go from here? I mean, depending on how you view things, some people might say, look, it's likely that this stock would dip further if the moves that they perceive are Huaxin, which appears to be the new core investor, decides to give a buyout price or tender price, to use the correct word, at a much lower price to where the stock is. Stock is trading at 123 naira. Feel as I get, I think Hoaxin probably concluded the transaction in the 60s or 80s. I'm not too sure. The tender offer will give those details. So if that is the case, are they going to pay or buy out or offer, give a tender price at a higher price than it is currently, or are they going to stick to the price at which they got in? Time will tell. Zenith Bank dipped yesterday. TA wise indicate the stock is a sell, but fundamentally speaking, I mean, typically Zenith usually trades at par with GTCO. GTCO is at about the 92 range, so Zenith sub 70 could indicate that there may be still some room to run. I think a deciding factor for this stock is what would it do, the shape of its H1 2025 numbers. We're eagerly waiting for those numbers. If the numbers are better than expected, especially in terms of provisions, the stock will fly. If the numbers are worse than expected, or if the numbers are uninspiring, then the stock might tank. So really, that is the key deciding factor. But and I think I have a video somewhere going into details. I think if you work out your numbers, I mean, the stock isn't expensive, but those are fundamental issues that will influence movement. And fundamentally, people may want to key in to those decisions or may want to take advantage of any ups or downs. I mean, if there's a downtrend following results, that's great for fundamentals investors. If there's an uptrend, they're also great because, I mean, markets are unpredictable right now. I don't see what will sway this market anytime soon. So you could have fantastic results and you know the stock wouldn't move. You know, it happens and all that. So I keep an eye on this stock and continue to do so. But I think at 60 is a good psychological point by which short-term players may start to take position. QTix dip yesterday. Poor Q1 2026 numbers released on Friday. I think this stock could recover marginally or fall further depending on broad market sentiments today. Our oil share index fell 0.41% yesterday. So let's see how today will shape out. MTN Nigeria. I mean, I saw 399 bids. I don't know if they went through, but I saw 399, 401, 402, 405, 410 bids yesterday. It's very likely that trend will continue. Given if you listen to the daily market summary on Spotify I did yesterday, I kind of went into details of why this will be an interesting play. No time to go into that, but I probably, if the stock continues to do sub 400, I'll probably discuss it a bit at the market close video. Custodian investment went on full bid yesterday. There was a social media frenzy. There was some tweet by someone whom you could call an influencer. I mean, if you have a large following and people act on what you say, then maybe you may say, yes, you're an influencer. Unfortunately, that would put me in that bucket, but I refuse to be in that bucket. I'm simply an equity analyst and the likes. So, but there was a social media frenzy on Sunday evening, Monday yesterday. Stock went on full bid, which is rare and all that. I think that trend may continue today. 2 million plus shares, I believe, were traded yesterday, which was huge bounce from the Friday's trading and all that. So clearly, you can say that social media influence is beginning to have some sway on this stock. Whether it will continue, I don't know. Whether it's a general market thing, I don't know. But it was an interesting move yesterday. Clearly, that full bid behavior you saw was due to the social media frenzy. Aradel stock gained yesterday, traded large volumes yesterday as well. I think over 10 million shares were traded. Aradel was actually the most actively traded stock by value yesterday. Over 5 billion naira worth of shares were traded. So I don't know if that trend will continue. Aradel tends to be range trading, has been range trading for a while. I mean, I think last week I was seeing sub 500 trades or 501, 502 trades. Aradel is over 515 naira at the moment. So let's see what today's trade turns out to be. Veritas Capital, Eternal, and LRLX. Now, here I decided to go deep into a bit of technical analysis. I'm not going to turn this video into a full TA video. That's not my objective. I'm very particular about that. So I'm more into broad market sentiments. But occasionally one goes into a TA just to give some color. So, I mean, these three stocks were the worst performing stocks yesterday, all down, fell down 10%. TA wise, Veritas Capital is largely neutral, except for if you look going by 10-day exponential moving average and simple moving average. I think those indicate a sell. I don't have my figures in front of me, but I'll probably check by midday and let's see. TA wise, Eternal is a sell. I think fundamental as well. I mean, if you check the video I did on the downstream oil and gas players, I think it was a video. I'm not too sure. I think I did a video at this point. I've done so many videos, I've lost count. But I mean, fundamentally speaking, yeah, stock seems to be in recovery mode. When you look at the downstream players, I think Total recorded a loss. Connoy recorded a sharp, I think that is sharp dip in profits. Eternal seemed to be the best of the lot, but fundamentally speaking, the stock is trading at over 30 naira. It's way too pricey for a low margin sector and all that. I think it's a bit frothy. I know. So, TA wise, LRLX may face some sell pressure. I mean, LRLX probably it's not the most pricey stock in the oil palm space. I think the most pricey by book value should be Presco. Yeah, I haven't updated my tables. I'll probably play around and look at those tables and let's see how it goes and all that. But TA wise, I think this stock will still face some sell pressure today. If you have any questions, drop in the comment section or send an email to info@greenticketales.com. What's the coverage? 12:30 p.m. midday on YouTube, you'd have the midday NGX update. I've been getting some good traction on it, so I think I'll continue to do it. My initial thoughts were it wasn't going to do so well because YouTube algorithms for me seem to have me at 2 videos. In fact, I find it pleasantly surprising that I'm able to do a pre-market video on 9:30 a.m. and does quite well. So I guess, well, sometimes one has to just go with your hunch rather than what the numbers say. So at midday, 12:30 p.m., you'd have a pre-market, a midday update video. 6 p.m. On Spotify, I introduced that yesterday. I'm doing a daily market summary on Spotify as well. You want to tune into that because with Spotify, sometimes I can, be a bit more flexible, talk a bit more and all that compared to YouTube. So it will be up, the daily market summary up by 6 p.m. on YouTube and Spotify. While 10 p.m. on the Green Ticker Tail team tweets out the daily market summary. So if you can, I'd say follow all channels simply because the time differences or the spacing out of these different content means that I can sometimes contain more information that breaks out after one goes. So the 6 p.m. for instance, daily market summary on YouTube, I probably recorded 4-5 so I can get around and do other things as well. So anything happens 4-5, I won't talk about it. For Spotify, there's a bit more chance to do so because Spotify, obviously, it's easier, quicker to write a script. Sometimes I can just put on my mic and speak because I have the numbers offered. So Spotify tends to maybe contain a bit more context than the YouTube video. While obviously the 10 p.m. daily market summary video, summary Twitter thread tends to also contain a bit more context, includes breaking news that may occur maybe after 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. So you want to keep an eye on all of them. And yes, people have faves and all, but that's the way it is. For more content, and just in case you're wondering where is it, you search for Green Ticker Tales podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music. All the links are in my profile page on YouTube as well. So then there's also greentickertales.com. I will be writing a few things right away now. I'm going to be talking about what seems to be the influencer frenzy in the stock market and why people need to be careful and the like. So thank you for watching. Have yourself a great day. I see you at 12:30 p.m. Stay well.